G'day guys and welcome to my Rxys V2 video. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about NRL round 25 recap for 2019 guys, so let's get started. So the first game of this match, we see the Rabbitohs taking on the Roosters here. I think that game was an absolute great game. What an absolute great match, I thought. What a brilliant game of footy in that Thursday night clash last week. But I think that game was absolutely brilliant. Rabbitohs came out with a brilliant job and brilliant hard-taking win. I think the Rabbitohs just are a great attacking team. But with Cameron Murray and you got like Cody Walker, also Adam Reynolds and Damien Cook, all those great players, I think they just dominate every team. But really, I just think that game was absolutely brilliant and a top-notch effort. I think that one was absolutely brilliant, but I did tip the Rabbitohs though by 8 points, and they did get the job done. It was a 16 points to 10 scoreline. What an absolute win. I thought to myself, the Roosters were going to win that, but they didn't. Unfortunately though, the Rabbitohs won, which I thought to myself that was just a lucky effort by the Rabbitohs, but they just held on and took that game to an absolute brilliant win. I thought to myself, well done, and yeah, I got to give myself a pat on the back for that one, because obviously the Rabbitohs were just so good and they just got the job done very well. But I got to give a shout out to Rxys, because he obviously goes for the Rabbitohs and he is a Rabbitohs supporter. He would have been happy for that one, and yeah, he is a legend. But yeah, it was an absolute great win and an obviously great effort by the Rabbitohs. The next game of that round, we saw the Eels taking on Manly Seagulls. I think this game was just outstanding. I think the Parramatta Eels just came out really hard and it obviously dominated Manly Seagulls. I just thought to myself, was the Manly Seagulls going to switch on and obviously dominate Eels? No, they won't. But unfortunately for the Manly Seagulls, they just lacked effort and they lacked instability, which I thought to myself, was the Manly going to win this game or the Eels? But literally the Eels just come out very strong and they attacked. I thought to myself, this one was just an absolute great game, and this one was a highlight of my game. I thought to myself, is Manly going to get this one or the Parramatta Eels? I just thought Parramatta Eels were going to get this one, and they did. 32 points to 16 the scoreline was. What an absolute great effort from Parramatta Eels. And I got to give this one a really great, brilliant player to a shout out to Maiko Sivo. 3 tries. Oh my goodness. What an absolute effort by Maiko Sivo. He is an absolute great player. He just came from bloody Canterbury Cup to an absolute top-notch effort by the obviously top-grade side. I thought to myself, Maiko Sivo was just lacking effort, but he came out with his absolute brilliant attitude, and he absolutely deserved to win that game anyway. But anyway, that was just an absolute great game. But I did tip the Eels though by 6 points, and they obviously got that job done. But the player to watch and that man of the match for me was an absolute Maiko Sivo man of the match for me. But yeah, it was an absolute great game by the Manly Eel. I meant to say, sorry, it was meant to be like a great game by the Eels, but unfortunately the Seagulls didn't lack any effort. But without Tom Trbojevic, which he is injured at the moment, but he's not playing any more games. Unfortunately, he is out of that match, and yeah, unfortunately, he's not playing any more games. So yeah, that was just a great win by the Eels. The next game of that round, we saw the Storm taking on the Cowboys. I think that one was just absolutely brilliant. I thought to myself, was the Melbourne Storm going to get this one? Because the Cowboys are just really good, and unfortunately, they just lacked effort and instability. But I thought to myself, was the Cowboys going to get this win? No, they weren't. unfortunately, they didn't play their heart out. I thought to myself that that game was just absolutely rubbish by Cowboys, because they're just not lacking any effort. They're just not attacking that much. And yeah, they're just lacking so much energy. But for the Melbourne Storm, I just thought they really are a good team. But like really, sending out a couple of players, that's just a bit off. Like literally sending out Addo Carr and the rest, like Munster and like Brandon Smith, that's just a bit wrong. But the Melbourne Storm got the job done, 24 points to 16, and that game was just brilliant, simple, average, and top quality game. But I really think that the Melbourne Storm was just absolutely brilliant team. But yeah, what can you do? It's just, that game was just really an average game, but pretty normal. Great attacking speed for Ryan Papenhuyzen. He's an absolute great player. I do enjoy seeing him play, like listen to him, and obviously playing, like watching him play, I mean, on TV. But yeah, what a great game that was. And I did tip the Melbourne Storm though by 4 points, and they obviously got the job done pretty well. I really thought that the Cowboys were going to end this game with that win, but unfortunately they didn't. But the Cowboys, I know for a fact that they are just a very top team, and that, yeah, I really thought that that game was just brilliant and a wonderful game to watch. But yeah, an absolute great win by the Melbourne Storm, and I did tip them by 4 points. The next game of that round, we saw the Raiders taking on the Warriors. I think that game was just so really good, but literally the Raiders were just not really attacking very good. But with Jordan Rapana out, and obviously you got Chance Nickel-Klokstad out of that game, they just really lacked support and obviously lacked instability, which I thought to myself that Chance Nickel-Klokstad is an absolute great player, and you got Jordan Rapana, which he is a winger, and he supports that game into a great, probably great player. But I thought to myself, what a game that was. But you got obviously the Raiders, where they just really are not lacking very well. They're just so very poor lately. But I didn't like how the Raiders, how they just backed off, and yeah, they're just not in a great position. But really, literally, I thought to myself, Raiders, they are a great team, but when you got that squad with Bailey Simonson, he's an absolute great player, but in that game, he was just not very good. But you obviously got like Nick Kotrick. Also, you got like I don't know which one who it is. I'm not sure who that winger was. But I thought to myself, like, yeah, what a great game that was. But with the Warriors though, also you got like you got the players that have that instability, but they aren't just not attacking very well. But with that, the Warriors aren't a really good team. They are winning a couple of games, but I think they only just won one. I thought to myself, but that game was just such an absolute awesome game, and I really thought to myself, what a great game that was by the Warriors, which they won by 4 points. And I really thought to myself, I thought to myself that the Raiders were going to win that game, but the Warriors, they turned themselves in, and they just really won that game by 4. Which I thought to myself, what a great game by the Warriors, and yeah, thanks for the Warriors to win that game. But yeah, I did tip the Raiders though by 12 points, and they obviously lost by 4. And yeah, unfortunately, that was just a easy, what a great win by the Warriors. But yeah, what a great win by the Warriors though. And they also got the job done though by 4 points. The next game of that round, we saw the Bulldogs taking on the Broncos. I think that game was so brilliant, so good to watch. I thought the Bulldogs just came out with that brilliant heart, and I thought Nick Meaney is an absolute great player, which he has scored a couple of tries, and he's just a finisher. Well done to him, and also well done to Will Hopewadi. I think obviously got the one try. But then you got like Anthony Milford, where he's only scored like I think one. And then you got like Katoni Staggs, where he scored 1-2, or probably 2 tries for Katoni Staggs. But yeah, I thought to myself, what a great game that was. Bulldogs are an absolutely great team, and I really hope that that the Bulldogs are going to get that win for the next game. But I don't think they are playing for that next game. Like, I maybe think like for the finals. But yeah, what a great game that was. Broncos are just not a really good team at the moment. They just lacked very poor in that game, which I thought Broncos are just really lacking instability and obviously momentum. But yeah, Broncos are just not really a good team at the moment. But I think, yeah, what a great game that was for the Broncos. Yeah, like again, they're just really poor lately. But I really think that the Eels are gonna just smash the Broncos, and yeah, they're gonna get the Broncos out of the comp. But yeah, what an absolute great game. But I did tip the Bulldogs though by 14 points, and they also won that game by so many, and it was at 30 points to 14 scoreline. Which I thought, what a great game that was. And yeah, what an absolute win by the Bulldogs. And obviously Nick Meaney scoring 2 tries to make a couple of points, make it more higher than that. The next game of that round, we saw the Titans taking on the Dragons. I think that game was so brilliant. Such an absolute wonderful game. I thought to myself, Dragons are just on top and on fire, but they're just really struggling at the moment with the cap. It's like, I mean, salary cap, and you got like the players, which I think that they just not very like happy at the moment. Which I thought Ben Hunt is an absolute great player, but you obviously got like Tristan Sailor, which he has just made his debut with so many tries, and I thought to myself that intercept try was just phenomenal. But unfortunately, Ewan Aiken had his thumb on it before Tristan Sailor got to the ball. But literally, I thought to myself, what a great game that was for the Dragons. But unfortunately for the Titans, they're just lacking effort, and they're just not trying to win at the moment, like win any games. But they just really are. They just are a good team, but they're not really are, because unfortunately they're just not winning any games. And I literally think that that game was just so brilliant by the Dragons, but not for the Titans. I really hope that the Dragons are just going to win a couple of games, but I'm not sure. But I think that's it for the Dragons though, because I don't think they are playing any more games. But yeah, what an absolute great game that was. But unfortunately for the Titans, they're just not really consistent enough to win any games. But yeah, what a great game that was for the Dragons. But I did go for the Dragons though by 14 points, and they obviously won that game by probably like probably by one try to win that game. The next game of that round, we saw the West Tigers taking on the Cronulla Sharks. I think that game was so brilliant, but I think the West Tigers just really lacked momentum, and yeah, that one was just such an absolute poor effort by the West Tigers. But I literally thought Robbie Farah is an absolute great player, but sometimes he just lacks really effortly and doesn't get any tries. But I think for like what I'm trying to say is like try assist, I mean. But I think what a wonderful game that was, and I think that game was just so brilliant by the Cronulla Sharks. They are just really up top with the Cronulla Sharks team. I thought to myself, is the Cronulla Sharks going to win or the West Tigers are going to win? But I did tip the West Tigers though by 2. Unfortunately, they did lose, but that one was just an absolute great effort by the Sharks. But the scoreline was 25 points to 8, and I did think that the Paul Gallen's field goal was absolutely gonna kick it, but he did to make it 25 to 8. But yeah, what an absolute great game that was, and I think I accidentally what I mean was I forgot to say the scoreline, which was 24 points to 16 for the Titans and Dragons. Yeah, I didn't say that scoreline, unfortunately. I do apologise for that. But yeah, that game though for the West Tigers and the Sharks was just average, but wasn't a really great effort by the West Tigers, unfortunately. But yeah, what an absolute great effort by the Sharks to make it 25 points to 8 and Paul Gallen to kick that field goal. The next game of that round, we saw the Panthers taking on the Knights. I think that game though was just so brilliant. What a wonderful game. And I think for the Newcastle Knights, they just really lacked momentum and absolutely lacked accuracy, which I thought to myself, what an absolute great effort though by the Knights to make it 2 tries. But unfortunately they didn't win. But the scoreline though was 54 points to 10, which is an absolute great scoreline. And I do think that game though was just so brilliant by the Panthers. And yeah, I got to give this one a great man of the match though to James Maloney, because he is a great player and he is obviously moving on to UK to I think play for the UK Super League, I think. But yeah, what an absolute great game though. I really think that the Newcastle Knights didn't really held on really well. But yeah, 2 tries though to I think 1 try to Bradman Best and the other one to Starford Moga or something like that. But like yeah, to make it his try debut for Starford, I think he was an absolute great player. But yeah, I really hope that James Maloney does really well in their next career. But yeah, what an absolute great game that was. But yeah, certainly for the Newcastle Knights, I really hope that they just look in themselves and really harden up. But yeah, because unfortunately they're just really inconsistent at the moment. But that game though was just so poor for them. But yeah, what an absolute great game though by the Panthers to make it 54 points to 10. And I did tip the Panthers though by 8 points. Thanks guys for watching my video guys. Stay tuned for more. I will be doing a couple of videos coming to you very soon. And I will be doing that in a couple of days time. Which I thought I'm going to do the week 1 finals for the Eels and Broncos. Which that will be on Sunday 4:05. And yeah, I'll be doing that one for you guys. But yeah, if you'd like to come and say hello, and that I will be down there at Bankwest Stadium to vlog that video. And yeah, I will be doing that. But me and Entertain House will be vlogging the video for you guys. And if you guys want to come say hello, you're more than welcome to, because it's our meet and greet. If you want to come and say hello, you can though. But yeah, me and Entertain House are gonna be down there at that game to watch it. But yeah, thanks guys for watching my video guys. Stay tuned for more. But also I will be doing the week 1 predictions for you guys though also. But that will be coming out on they'll be coming out on Thursday. But yeah, I will be doing that. But yeah, thanks guys for watching my video guys. And yeah, take care guys.